Our next Community Day Pokemon and attack has been revealed. Yeah, the September Community Day Pokemon is going to be Roggenrola on Sunday, September 18th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. local time. So a little bit later than what we're used to for the Community Days. And yeah, when you evolve Boldore into Gigalith during Community Day hours and then for some time after that, you will get the special attack Meteor Beam on Gigalith. Now, Gigalith hasn't really been much of a thing in raids or in PvP because, well, it's just not as good as other Pokemon. But Meteor Beam is quite good of an attack and will give Gigalith some play in raids. For PvP, I don't think it's really going to change anything for Gigalith here, but the move itself is actually fantastic. So in this video, I'm going to talk about both Meteor Beam, what this means for Gigalith, and how Meteor Beam could be really good for other Pokemon in the future of the game. So let's get into it. When it comes to Meteor Beam in raids, it is a 140 damaging attack for a 100 energy cost with a time of 1.9 seconds. So this gives it a DPS times DPE, which is kind of like a standardized simple metric for an attack's overall goodness of, I believe, over 103, which is quite good. Now, it is held back still by being a single energy bar move, 100 energy cost move, because of wasted energy, energy overflow, all the issues that can come with that in raids. But because it is such a spectacularly good damaging attack, it's still like a really, really good attack. I mean, it's apparently better than Origin Pulse and Precipice Blades, which is pretty exciting. These attacks also haven't been released yet in the game. We're still waiting for the signature moves for both Groudon and Kyogre. But, once again, really powerful attack. So what does this mean for Gigalith? Checking out the DPS TDO spreadsheet here on GamePress, sorting it by DPS to the third power times TDO, which is a metric for a Pokemon's overall goodness in raids, focusing on the attack primarily, but giving a little nod to that tankiness, right? You can see Gigalith now makes page 1 for Rock-type Pokemon, even when you include the Megas that haven't been released yet and Shadow Pokemon as well. So that's pretty impressive for it. It's got a 15 DPS, which is higher than normal Tyranitar, the non-shadow, non-mega Tyranitar, which suggests that Gigalith will make a pretty good splash as a budget raid type attacker. Of course, if you do have your whole squad of Terrakion and Rampardos and Rhyperior all set to go, then Gigalith really isn't going to make much impact on your team. I also gave Meteor Beam to Stakataka. Stakataka has not been released yet. It's a Ultra Beast type Pokemon. It stacks, it attacks, and one day it'll be in Pokemon Go. And it can also learn Meteor Beam, right? So not great on the DPS, but Stakataka is a really bulky Pokemon, so clearly this could be a nice addition to it as well. So really powerful attack. Gigalith is no longer a complete joke when it comes to the raid meta, but is still behind, some of the best options that are still budget. As far as Pokemon that can learn Meteor Beam go, and I'll show a list of them a bit later, a lot of fossil Pokemon can learn this attack, but at the current moment in time in the main series games, Rampardos, despite being a fossil type Pokemon, doesn't have access to Meteor Beam. That said, it is a fossil Pokemon. So one day possibly it could learn Meteor Beam, which would lead to some funny theory crafting here on the Pokemon Go side of things. Like a Shadow Rampardos with Meteor Beam, the apex rock type of the meta forever. That'd be pretty fun. But as it stands right now, it can't learn Meteor Beam in the main series games. But yeah, plenty of Pokemon have access to Meteor Beam from the main series games, like Rhyperior could get it, Aerodactyl could get it, even Diancie could get it. So we'll have to see what Pokemon Go does with this attack going forward. But for raids, definitely one of the best attacks that we've gotten in a long time, if not the best attack that we've gotten in a long time. Then when it comes to the PvP side of the force, Gigalith's attack does 120 damage for 60 energy, which gives it a nice, clean, even 2.0 DPE, which for the most part is the name of the game for a simple metric for PvP charge attacks, which is quite good. I mean, it's clearly not going to be one of the best attacks around, but it also doesn't have a drawback. It has a bonus. It increases your attack by 1 stage every time you use it. And if you do look at the attacks that do have 2.0 DPE, these are some of the better attacks in the game. Like we got Leaf Blade, Mega Horn, Focus Blast falls into this range. Focus Blast honestly could get nerfed. Nobody uses it but Registeel. Registeel needs more nerfs. a little slide with that in here for you guys. But yeah, no, a lot of really great attacks are at 2.0 DPE. To add to that, this is a rock type attack. Rock is one of the core elements to having perfect coverage in just Pokemon battles to begin with. If you pair rock with fighting or ground type attacks, then you basically hit everything for at least neutral, which is, really fantastic. So having this attack be better than Earthquake statistically, same base damage but a lower energy cost, and it buffs your attack by 1 stage, I guess we can imagine that the wrong thing is going to get it one day and then cause it to get nerfed, right? But yeah, no, as it stands though, this attack is really fantastic. So does this mean that Gigalith is going to rise from the depths and become insane in PvP? Well, not exactly. Unfortunately for Gigalith, it is a mono rock type Pokemon to begin with, and being a rock type in general for any sort of Pokemon combat is never really a good thing because rock types have way more weaknesses than they do resistances. So the only time you really see rock types standing out is if they have like a good secondary typing to pair with it to kind of make up for all the issues it has. Gigalith is just pure, unadulterated rock. So not that good. And then also its stat product is a little bit on the lower side. Here I got it compared to another rock type Pokemon that we all know and love, Alolan Graveler, and yeah, it's got lower stat product than that. That said, Gigalith could possibly stand out in limited type formats where, rock types may be able to shine. For one, it does have superpower to pair with the Meteor Beam, which gives it that hallmark perfect coverage and a really good way to hit into opposing rock types. And then if it is a really like rock-centric kind of format, Gigalith also has access to Mud Slap. Now, a lot of other rock type Pokemon have Mud Slap too, like I think Rhydon and Rhyperior also have it, so it's not that unique to it. It's not like so much like the Vikavolt situation where it's the electric type that sneaks into electric cups with the Mud Slap, right? Gigalith here, it's not exactly unique in this respect, but it does have Meteor Beam, which is crazy good, and it has superpower, which is quite nice too. So definitely not a priority Pokemon, and overall I'd say this community day isn't a priority community day. It's not a Stardust community day, so that's always a big turn off for me to begin with, and the Pokemon is like a cup Pokemon. So it's useful to keep your eye out for, good IV, low attack, high defense, high HP, because I'm not doing a deep dive on this thing. It could be useful to get like the good IV and evolve it, right? But definitely not a household name when it comes to PvP. But other stuff getting Meteor Beam, that is where things could get kicked up into high gear. Here on Bulbapedia, we got Pokemon that can learn Meteor Beam. There's actually quite a few of them. A lot of them are either like rock type or fossil type Pokemon, or they have some sort of association with space or the moon, which is why you see, Clefable having it here. But yeah, it is a pretty popular attack to pass around. Hopefully Mew doesn't get it. That'd be pretty disgusting. But yeah, so a lot of different things can learn it, and it could elevate basically any of these Pokemon because it is such a powerful attack. One Pokemon that definitely doesn't need to get it, though, it's going to be this freaking Registeel here. Imagine, Registeel. Like, we all think Zap Cannon's crazy, right? And that's because it gives Registeel better neutral coverage than Flash Cannon did. Imagine this thing with Meteor Beam. Absolutely disgusting. Will that be Pokemon Go's next move after they finally properly nerf Zap Cannon? Slide this guy in. Who knows? We'll have to find out. I think that's getting added to Jirachi sometime in the future would be nice, because Jirachi, compared to like the other like Pixie mythic Pokemon, is kind of falling behind, especially now that Victini's rising up with the quick attack. So I would like to see it on the Jirachi. But yeah, basically any Pokemon here would really appreciate it. And that's all I gotta say right now when it comes to Meteor Beam and Gigalith. Once again, not exactly the most hype community day ever, but might be useful to pick one of these things up just in case for the cup format, right? And finally, a good move for PvE. For raids, we finally got an attack that's not bad and will be even better on future Pokemon. If you got any questions on this content, of course, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. SwagTips. I'd like to give a special shout out to these Patreon supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. One thing I do want to highlight before I go is this shiny looks pretty cool, honestly. I'm not the biggest shiny fanatic on the block, but this one's one of the more interesting looking ones, so I'll be happy to have it in my collection. throw it in some gyms right on top, let everybody see it. It's pretty neat.